Good morning. My name is Laura Jarman, and I'm one of our school counselors, and I have the pleasure of introducing my student this morning, Anastasia Galinsky.
So I'd like to begin today by introducing my parents, Adolf and Elena Galinsky, if you could please stand. Thank you so much for all the support you've given me. I truly appreciate it. So the staff member I invited today is Mrs. Sirabatka. And I really appreciate Mrs. Sirabatka because she encourages students to build connections through in-class discussions. Now, that's really meaningful to me because through those discussions, she introduced me to derivatives, integrals, and so many other things I've come to know and love. But more importantly, Mrs. Sirabatka taught me that you can't memorize understanding. Learning isn't about knowing a formula or even rapid recall. It's about being able to understand why you're doing something and being able to execute the process behind it. Now, on a slightly different note, in the more than 3 years I've known her, I've come to appreciate Mrs. Sirabatka's witty sense of humor. So on every test, instead of writing name and then leaving us like a blank space to write our names, she always replaces name with an encouraging and witty math one. For example, my knowledge is increasing at an increasing rate. Or, I'm projecting future success with vectors. Thank you, Mrs. Sirabatka, for teaching me how to learn and making that process so enjoyable. If you could please come. Now, I truly believe that I am who I am today because of my family, especially my parents. My parents have supported me as I've pursued my interest in activities like math team, my trials, Scholastic Bowl, and many more. Now, as many of you know, I have 2 younger siblings who are also involved in various activities. I know how difficult it can be to balance all of our schedules, especially when we are attending 3 different schools, and both of my parents are working. So I truly appreciate the support my parents have given me, which has enabled me to explore many of my interests, and that has been such an enjoyable experience. Now, on another note, something really important that my parents have taught me is to stand up for myself and for other people. No matter how small the issue or even how large, my parents have instilled in me the importance of standing up for what is right and engaging in civil discourse, which I believe are very important skills to have going into college and beyond. Thank you so much.
The next student we'd like to call up is Elena Garcia.
So, in case you all didn't know, my name is Elena Garcia, and I'm here with my father, Eduardo Garcia. When I was called up from my speech and communications class one normal afternoon, I immediately thought, oh no, did a sub mark me down in attendance again? Do I have to now go fix my attendance? Instead, I was pleasantly surprised to see my other classmates meeting me in the counselor room where we were told to choose a teacher to speak on at this award ceremony. Someone who has inspired me and touched me one way or another. And I won't lie, it took me a while to think of a teacher that I genuinely wanted to pour my gratitude over. Yet, again and again, my mind kept wandering back to one Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, in case you didn't know, has quite a reputation in the school, actually. No matter who you ask, or no matter where you go, no matter what department you stumble into, someone will always have something nice to say about Mr. Moore. He's such an inspiration to his students, sharing personal stories of struggle and rewarding and connecting his students like no other teacher that I've found. He's very caring and understanding and proving time and time again that he's on our side and willing to be here for us. He commonly jokes that he's a frail old man, yet the class knows that it's nothing but a mask and that he will watch you sleep in his class. I have taken that position a couple of times, but still, with the help of Mr. Moore, I got a 4 on the AP exam, and I will forever be grateful and thankful for what he has done for me and the rest of his students. He creates an inclusive environment where everyone is welcome and no one is judged, and it is full of caring people who are genuinely there to help you. Thank you, Mr. Moore. The other person that I would like to congratulate who's here today is my father, Eduardo Garcia. I need to thank him for helping me for where I am today, as he and my mother have raised me to be the person that I am today and achieved everything that I have. They are the reason that I have the drive that I do and can never thank them enough for all the work and sacrifice they have put into ensuring that I have the best life. I remember one time I was in middle school and still at the beginning of my musical career. For context, I picked up band in 5th grade and chose this funny looking instrument called the baritone. I refer to it as a mini tuba because most people don't know what that is. It was half my size, and many few people played it. And I chose to enroll in a music competition to play with the best middle school students in the state. But when I got the audition music, my heart sank. This was beyond my realm. I had no idea what this was. It was like every exam in those movies where like the student sees it and their eyes blur. Everything just is panicking. Sweat was dripping down my face. I was breathing heavy, and I promptly gave up dramatically, throwing myself on the nearest couch. Instead, when my parents found me in this state, they decided that I must continue this, and if need be, ask my teacher for help. This was not the response I was looking for. I had already given up and started my moping party across the living room. Either way, a few weeks go by, and I found myself learning these new notes and rhythms and making sense of this nonsense, enough to where I could play what it was supposed to sound like. Apparently, it was good enough for the judge that I performed it for, and I found myself one Saturday afternoon in an auditorium with all other middle schoolers who were deemed the best in the region, all because my parents pushed me enough when I thought it was impossible. So, thank you. Hinsdale South is going to help me a lot in my future, in which I want to go into animation. And they're going to be my platform for doing what I want, getting these skills that I need, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Thank you.
Our next award winner is Dmitry Guyanich.
First, I'm going to congratulate Ms. Jarman on the pronunciation of my last name. Anyone who's known me the last 4 years and has heard my name over the announcements probably knows that's not the easiest task. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my mom, Dragana, to stand up so you guys can all give her a round of applause. I'll talk about her in a second. First, I'm going to talk about the teacher that I invited to come today. So I guess just to start, I had Mr. Schleiman my first time my sophomore year. I wasn't really sure what I was going into when I took computer science. I always grew up on the computer. I grew up using, my mom knows I would just be on it like every day after school, elementary school, middle school. And I thought, I guess why not just study the science of what I'm using every single day. And I just remember it being a really hard year for a lot of reasons. I remember being COVID. I remember having to learn it online. But what I remember the most is just how Mr. Schleiman really figured it out. He really improvised under that kind of stress of having this group of students and having to teach them such a complex subject online. And I would come to understand that pain when junior year. I reached out to Mr. Schleman. I guess just I had such a love for computer science by that point that I wanted to reach as many other students as possible. And I tried to start what would end up being called like a coding club. And I guess just the goal of it was to try to teach basic website development fundamentals to students that might have an interest, students that might have never had a computer science class before. And the requirements of starting a club at Hinsdale South are that you do need a teacher to stay with you after school, before school, to sponsor you, because you can't leave a bunch of students unattended. And then I just never really realized until this year just how much of an ask that was for me to ask Mr. Schleman every other Thursday to stay back after school. I know he had his own responsibilities. I know he had his own work to do. But despite that, he still, helped me out. He still understood that he had that same understanding that I had, that it was important to teach people that might not have that confidence in themselves to study computer science, and I'm always going to be grateful for that. So yeah, I want to give Mr. Schleman a round of applause, please. And I have a plaque for you. And now I'm going to take this moment to talk about my mom and what she's done for me. I think she's really taught me to be an advocate for myself, and that's translated into not just me being an advocate for myself, but being an advocate for others at school. And I guess I've just learned to fight for myself. I've learned to be independent through her, and I know that wherever I go for school, I actually do plan to go out of state. I do plan to live in a city by myself. I don't know which city yet. I'll know in April when the decisions come out. But I know that she's prepared me really well just to do what I want to do in life. And that I remember she's always pushed me really hard. And I used to be so scared when grades would come out, report cards would come out, because she did push me so hard. And then I remember even when I was so scared handing her this assignment that I did, and it was just not a good grade. I don't remember the specifics of it. But I remember her reaction, and it was just like, okay, that's fine. It's not a big deal. And I guess that's just what moms are there for. They're there to push you. And I guess when you fall a little bit, they're there to remind you that, not everything, it's not the end of the world. And I just want to thank her for that. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
My name is Katie Cammy, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you all Mr. Aryan Patel.
It really is. Hi, thank you, Mrs. Cammy. My name is Aryan Patel, and I think that a good way to look at where I am now is kind of that analogy of an iceberg. And so I'll get back to that later, but above the water you see something, but below the water there's a lot more. And so I think for my dad and my mom who couldn't make it today, could you please stand up? Give a big round of applause for Mr. Patel. I think support system, love, things every kid needs, they've provided to me. And before I talk about that, I also want to thank Mr. Chaveria. He's the teacher that I chose to recommend today, and I've always had teachers, and it's my pleasure, that have taught me amazing things in the subjects I'm learning, but Mr. Chevy is the one teacher that I know that has been someone where I can look to for emotional help, happiness, I guess you could call it. Every day when you walk into school, Chevy's there. He's greeting kids. He's got his nice Dunkin' coffee, which I appreciate every morning. Always says hi, always checks in. And I had him freshman year. I saw the transition from in-person school to online school. Phenomenal job by Mr. Chevy, keeping us engaged, making sure we were there. And then during COVID, he would check in on students. He would send emails. He would be still active in a time where most people chose to kind of shut down, go into their little bubbles at home. And I think that really is an amazing job. So thank you, Mr. Sheddick. Thank you, sir. So back to what I was talking about. I think a lot of kids get props for what they're doing right now, but the parents never get enough props for what they've done in the past. From a young age, I remember my parents had high standards, and I've always strove to meet them. And it wasn't really the fact that we had high standards, it's how they enforce, kind of. I'm afraid of bad grades, but not because I'm afraid of punishment. My parents always made sure I knew that I have things I want to do in life, and there are certain things that I need to meet. Good grades, being active outside of school, and these are expectations they made very clear. So what I mean to say is they knew how to communicate with someone that was always changing. And I think that's a really unique way of parenting. Every time a parent kind of gets another kid, by the time they're done, they're already 2 years older, and it's not fair, right? So they did an amazing job. I'm really thankful, and that's who I am today.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Fitcher. I'm one of the counselors, and I get to recognize Adam Pinot. If you would please come up.
I'd like to start by asking my parents to stand up. To say that you guys have helped me through high school is a massive understatement, and I honestly just really want to thank you guys for everything that you've done for me. More on that later. The teacher I've chosen to recognize today is Mr. Moretti. From the day that I transferred in your class last year, I liked and respected Mr. Moretti instantly. You're never afraid to speak your mind and always tell us how things really happened. I've looked forward to your class every day because I know, alongside slandering Indiana and calling us grasshoppers, we were always getting factual, unbiased history. You always went out of your way to accommodate me for joining your class late, and always made sure I was learning to the best of my ability. You have the exact teaching style I need to learn best and never failed to make class interesting. You reignited my interest in history that I honestly thought was gone, and is definitely one of those teachers that I will never forget. For that, I thank you so much, Mr. Moretti. It's safe to say that I would not be standing here right now if it was not for my parents' relentless love and support. And I know that I don't always show it, but I am honestly, truly grateful for everything they have done and will continue to do even long after I've graduated from college. My high school experience overall has not been easy. It was a lot to get used to, especially with obstacles like COVID and my mental health. But thanks to people like my parents helping me every step of the way, and my friends such as the great Oliver Stellick and Elena Garcia, high school will be an experience I overall look back at fondly, and I look forward to making the most out of the rest of my senior year. Thank you.
All right, next I would like to call up the great Oliver Stellick.
All right, so to begin, I would first like to ask my parents to please stand up. I think it's pretty safe to say that without my parents' love and support and pushing me to my limits, I would definitely not be up here right now. So I really do have to thank them for everything that they've done for me. And I could have a million words and 100 years to say it, but I could never say it enough, so thank you. And then another person that I think has really been influential in my high school success has been Mr. Malone, which, if you don't know him, he is the Hinsdale South chess sponsor. And I think he's really helped me because even throughout the last like 3 tumultuous years, COVID and lockdowns and everything, Mr. Malone has always been there for his chess people and basically for anyone that would ask for help. He's always unwavering, he's always willing to help, and I think that, that anchor during those 3 years really helped stop me personally from being swept up through all the chaos, and I have to thank Mr. Malone for that. So, what I've really been, oh wait, all right, so what I've really been getting at here, I think, is what I learned to be one of the most important things throughout these last few years in high school is to have a good support network. I think it was through not only the amazing efforts by my parents to help me whenever I needed it, to push me when I needed to be pushed, and Mr. Malone holding me down during those crazy times during COVID-19 lockdowns, that I realized you can't go in it alone. You need people to support you. You need family, coaches, counselors. Thank you, Mr. Peterson. And also, obviously, friends. Thank you, Autumn. And I think you really do need that support network, and I think that's something that I'm going to take away after high school, and I'm going to apply for the rest of my life, and I'm going to be better for it. Thank you.
All right. Now, last and certainly not least, Leah Therian. Come on up, please.
Good morning. My name is Leah Therian, and it is an honor to be here with all of you today. I would first like to start by asking my parents, Kavitha and Anthony Therian, to stand. I would like to thank both of you for everything you have done for me. Your sacrifices, support, encouragement, and constant presence. Both of you have always been by my side, guiding me, giving me the strength to overcome all the challenges that come my way, and providing me with unconditional love and support. You have taught me the power of kindness, honesty, and dedication by example, and I'm inspired by both of you every single day. I'm so grateful to have both of you as my parents, and you are the reason that I am who I am today. I got the honor to invite Mr. Gotland, my AP biology teacher, with me today. Mr. Gotland has been one of the most supportive and encouraging teachers that I've had the privilege to have. He has definitely had an impact on how I view science, school, and learning as a whole. Coming from someone who doesn't really like the idea of going to class, I've always looked forward to third period AP biology with Mr. Gotland, knowing that I'd be in a class where having fun, learning from our mistakes, and picking up random facts about bears was encouraged. I'm always inspired by his positive attitude, warm nature, and the way he looks out for those around him. From telling us stories about his own personal experiences to letting us dissect sharks, Mr. Gotland has taught us more than just the science of life, but about life itself. His patience and dedication, both in and out of the classroom, brings out the best in his students, and I will always think back fondly about your class. You have been the kind of support a student looks for in a teacher. Thank you for everything, Mr. Gotland. As I look back, I realize that I am the product of the collective efforts of so many people. So many people have played an integral role in helping me become who I am today. From my parents, who have sacrificed so much and have given me the best of every opportunity, to all of my wonderful teachers and my counselor, Mr. Dickerson, for giving me so much support, encouragement, and guidance throughout the years, along with my friends and family who have always motivated me to keep moving forward. I'm so grateful to all of you for your efforts, support, encouragement, and the belief you have in me. I truly could not do it without all of you, and I truly appreciate everything you do for me. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm a little taller than the rest. Thank you all for coming this morning. My name is Eric Mars, I'm Assistant Principal at Hinsdale South. It is my absolute honor and privilege to be able to speak to you this morning to wrap their ceremony up. I tell several of the staff members in the counseling department each year, this is my absolute favorite thing that I get to be a part of each and every year, because you get to hear all the things that embody what makes Hornet Nation the great place that it is. And while curriculum is important, absolutely, right? I wouldn't be in the job that I have without that. But I hope you heard this morning that it's the support network that each of you have, not only the students, but to the parents as well as the counselors and then the teachers. It's that support network that we thrive on and that we need in order to move forward in life and to do the great things that we do. To the students, an absolute fantastic job. Thank you so much. I know you will represent Hornet Nation fantastically as you move forward in life. To the teachers and to the counselors, I know you guys are going to continue to inspire future Hornets as they come through. And to the parents, thank you so much for sharing your most prized possession with us. We truly appreciate it. That wraps up this morning with one small exception. Students, if we could have you pose over here for a lovely picture. Other than that, thank you so much for coming and enjoy the rest of your day.